might have indicated before was that the landscape in the Iberian Peninsula was quite different, and that people were starting to modify it with agriculture and other practices. Is there a way to monitor that in the archaeological record? How do you find those changes?
So that's a big question that a lot of archaeologists are kind of spending more effort in sort of looking at. Obviously, everybody's interested now in climate change and evidence of past climate change and how people, contributed to it, or were involved in environmental change, at least in how they responded. So, at least for the site of Dolores, because it was such a small site, we're not, and used for such a relatively short period of time, we were not able to really use it as a tracker of climate change. But since my project, was completed, I started to work on some other projects with other collaborators, looking at other sites and other kinds of evidence. And so, what kind of evidence did we look at? One kind of evidence we looked at was pollen cores. Were the pollen cores and pollen analyses that Spanish and Portuguese archaeologists have been doing throughout the Iberian Peninsula. Those tell us something about the landscape changes. We can also look at soils and the deposit of soils in different landscapes, the dating of these erosional events to sort of track, human modifications of the landscape. Within the area of Dolores, we know, not through necessarily the work I've done, but through the work that the German Archaeological Institute has been doing, that major changes have been taking place, even prior to the time of Dolores. Basically, ever since farming peoples established themselves in the area, they were modifying the landscape. They were cutting down the trees, cutting down the sort of primary forest, creating basically a more degraded forest system of evergreen oak, a more open system, but also contributing to the erosion of the hills. We can see that as soon as humans got into the area, the erosional events occurred with sort of more intensity, and deposits of soil really started to accumulate at the valley bottom, very much due to human practices. So as soon as these human farming populations get into an area, they really transform the landscape.